Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Kelly and I make mostly book videos, but I also do like vlogs sometimes. And if you're interested in that, you should definitely hit the subscribe button down below and stick around for future videos. I've been trying to post a lot more frequently than I have in the past. But for today's video, I'm going to be doing my September reading wrap-up. I read 10 books in the month of September. I had a pretty good reading month. But yeah, let's get into it. I have this split up into different sections. So we have the romance books I read, the fantasy books I read, some mystery books, and then probably one of my favorite books ever that I will save for last, because the best for last, obviously. But yeah, let's get into it. So first we have Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. This is the third book in the Knockabout series. This is following Sloane and Lucian. When I tell you guys, I was so excited for this book. I was so excited. I was counting down the days till it came out. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I had a couple of issues with this book. The one is that it felt very long, and I know all the books, I feel like all of Lucy Score's books are pretty chunky. This book's like over 500 pages. And I feel like if you guys watch Destiny Sidwell or Sarah Caroli, I feel like the way they described the problems with this book, I felt the same way. So in this book, I feel like we get way more of like the other couples than we did on them. And they're supposed to be the main couple in this book. Like Knox and Lena, I feel like we got a lot of, and we got a lot of Nash and Naomi. I said the couples in all wrong orders, ignore that. But yeah, I feel like we got more of those couples than we did of Sloane and Lucian. It was kind of annoying me. Like, I feel like Sloane and Lucian are my favorite couple, and then I feel like it would be Knox and Naomi, and then I feel like it would be Nash and Lena. The second book was probably my least favorite, but Things We Never Got Over is my favorite book in the series. My favorite couple differs from my favorite book, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't make sense. But yeah, like I said, I felt like we got way too much of the other couples when it should have been mainly focused on Sloane and Lucian. I don't mind having the other characters pop in here and there, but like the storylines were just too much of the other couples, in my opinion. And the other problem, like I said, I just got a little bit bored in this book. So I give it 4 stars. I still really enjoyed it. I just think that I had my hopes up a little bit too much, that it didn't meet my standards of what I thought it was going to be. But like I said, 4 stars. I originally rated it a 4.25, but the more I thought about it, I was like, I think 4 is more fitting. I still really love this series, and I still really recommend it, especially Things We Never Got Over. That book is so, so good. And yeah, I'm sad that this series is over, but I definitely recommend that you guys read it. It's so good. Next, I read Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I gave this book 3.75. I was struggling between a 3.75 and a 4-star rating. So in this book, you are following Daniel and Alexis, and one night Alexis is driving home from a funeral and she ends up getting her car stuck, and she calls somebody to come tow her out, and in comes Daniel, and then they end up being friends, and it goes from there. I gave this book 3.75 stars mainly because the female character in this book annoyed me so much. The way that she treated Daniel, I did not like. I felt like Daniel was too good for her. Like, how many times can I say the word like? I'm sorry for that. Anyways, but I just didn't like the way that she treated him, and I kept saying to myself, am I even rooting for them to end up together? Like, I was questioning it because he deserved better. So he's definitely one of a top fave book boyfriends from me, I feel like. He was just so sweet, and the way that he talked about Alexis and the things that he did for her, he's the standard. But yeah, like I said, 3.75 just because I didn't really like the female character, and all the other like side characters made me so angry, and I did not like any of them except for like 1 or 2 of the side characters, but everybody else, no. But this book was a cute read. It was short, and it I don't know. It was just a good read. It was what I needed at the moment. 3.75 stars. Alright, next we're going to get into my fantasy books that I read this month. So I read Divine Rivals, and I was kind of nervous to read this book because this book got so hyped up out of nowhere. Like, I was just scrolling on TikTok, and I feel like every time I swiped up, it was talking about this book. So I'm like, alright, I need to buy it. So I bought it. And I was nervous just because I didn't want to get my hopes up too high and then be let down. So I kind of had to keep telling myself, just read it and see what you think. I loved this book. I ended up giving it 4 stars. So you are following Iris and Roman, and they are journalists and they work for the same company, and they end up needing one person to it's a one-person position, so they're both fighting for that position. So it's academic rivals, which I love academic rivals. So yeah, this book was so good. It had so many twists and turns, and the ending had me shook, and I need the second book right now. Roman was so sweet. I loved him. I don't know, this book was so different from any other fantasy that I've read before. So I really loved it, and I'm counting down the days till I can get the second book in my hand. Something about the way fantasy books end, it just makes you keep thinking about the book and say to yourself, I need the next book, immediately. So yeah, definitely loved that book, and I'm excited to continue on. Next we have The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I read this book in a video that I have either uploaded already or it's coming after this video. I'm not sure how I want to post those yet. But this is the 3rd book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. So this is following Oriah and Rain. And I'm excited because we actually got Rain's point of view in this book because we didn't get it in the first one. I can't say too much on this because I don't want to spoil what happens at the end of Serpent and the Wings of Night. But let me tell you guys, I really loved this book. I ended up giving this book a 4.5, which is, I think, the same star rating I gave The Serpent and the Wings of Night. But I think I might have given that book 4.75. And it's hard for me to say which book I liked better. I think I may have liked this book a little bit better, but I'm not sure because The Serpent and the Wings of Night was also really good. But yeah, you're just following them and what happens after where Serpent and the Wings of Night ends, and this book got really, really good. Towards halfway, I had to keep on reading. I couldn't put this book down. I just love all of these characters, and I cannot wait for the next book. I don't know who the next book's going to be following because I think this was the final book for Oriah and Rain. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what character is coming next. I'm curious. I'm very excited though because I loved this. And yeah, I've never read a vampire fantasy book before, so I'm excited to continue on with this. I don't know if there's even a date for when the next book is coming out yet, but I really loved it. It was so good. Alright, next we're going to be talking about the Naturals series. So I read the final 3 books in the series. So the next one after the Naturals was Killer Instinct, and I ended up giving this book 4.25 stars. This book was really good. I love these characters so much. If you guys like Criminal Minds, definitely check out this series. So we have Killer Instinct. Then we have All In, which I ended up giving this book 4.5 stars. I love the character that this book focuses on. I think she's my favorite out of all the characters. But what I love about this series is all the characters are so different, and they all have past traumas that they're dealing with, but they are always there for one another, and it's found family, and it's so good. And I also finished off the series with Bad Blood and then the novella, which is towards the end. That's called 12. I ended up giving Bad Blood 4.75. You can push it to 5. I think I would give it a 4.75 to a 5 because I was just conflicted on what I wanted to give it, because while I did love this book, overall I think the series is a 5-star series, hands down for me. I loved it. I loved all the characters, and every single book just had me shook. Like the plot twist, especially this book, the amount of plot twists in terms of this book took me on was just a wild roller coaster. It was crazy. And the novella, like I said, was called 12. I ended up giving that book 3.75. While I love these characters, what they were talking about, I liked seeing where they were like a couple of years later. Just like the story that they were going on didn't really interest me that much. I was getting a little bit bored in that novella, which is why I gave it 3.75. I still loved it. I love the characters, and yeah, I definitely recommend that you guys read the series and start with the Naturals. I didn't bring that book to show you guys, but the characters are so amazing. If you like Criminal Minds, definitely check the series out. And yeah, I'm so sad that I finished that already. I started the first book in August, so I read it in like over a month, which I rarely ever do. I feel like I take my time with series, but I was just so into the storylines and so into the characters that I wanted to continue. And then we have our last book of the month, and such a bittersweet feeling when you finish one of your favorite series. Actually, this is probably my favorite series of all time. So I finished off the Addicted Calloway Sisters series with Some Kind of Perfect. This book makes me want to cry just thinking about it. I can't even tell you guys the star rating for this. Like, it's just infinity stars, all the stars in the world. I would give this book definitely one of my favorite books ever. My favorite series, like I said. Just look at how many tabs I have in this book. I tabbed the crap out of this book because I loved it that much. These characters just feel like home. They really do. I am so attached to them, and when I finished the series, I don't know what day I finished it, but I still had like 2 weeks into the month, I think, or like a little less than that. But I had to take a break from reading for maybe like 3 or 4 days, and that was when I picked up Part of Your World after like a couple days after I finished this. So maybe that's why I rated the 3.75. Who knows? But yeah, it was hard for me to pick up a book after finishing the series because these characters just mean so much to me. And I've spent almost a year reading this. I started Addicted to You in November, I think, or the end of October. I can't remember. So yeah, it's been almost a year since I started this 11-book series. And these characters are just... I can't even like express into words. They're just everything. And it was just so emotional. I bawled my eyes out finishing this series, and in the last chapters you get like everyone basically like saying goodbye, and it was just my favorite characters, my favorite books. This series probably can never be topped. So should I stop reading since I read the best? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, those are all the books that I read. I'm trying not to get emotional over that series because I still can't wrap my head around the fact that it's over. I know I have the kids books, so there's the Like Us series, which like I said follows the kids from these couples, and I don't know where I stand with reading those books. Now, like I said 1,000 times what I just said, I love these characters. My only problem with going into those other books is there are so many couples in that series. I don't know how many books are in the Like Us series right now. It has to be over like 10 right now, and there's more books that are coming out. So that's one issue. I feel like there's just so many, and books are expensive. I buy like 20 books in a series. I don't know. Somewhere I feel like there has to be like a level of books to be in a series, but like if you have a lot of couples, it makes sense. So that's one issue of why I don't know if I'm going to read it yet. I'm definitely not going to be reading it right now, but I don't know if I'm going to read it at all yet. Or my second issue is I love these characters so much. Like I keep saying, you're like, Kelly, we've heard it already. We get it. I just don't want to go into that series expecting like the Addicted Calloway Sisters series and then be let down and then have what I think about the Like Us series affect my love for the Addicted Calloway Sisters series, if that makes any sense at all. I just don't want to put it on that kind of level and then have it not meet that expectation and then me be like why, you know what I mean? I don't know. Did that make sense? I don't know. So I have to sit on that. Definitely won't be this year that I read that. I'll have to sit and think about it. But yeah, those are all of the books that I read this month. Let's try and carry them in one. So yeah, these are all the books that I read in September. I was gonna say August. I don't know. I think I had a really good reading month. I'm forgetting a book. I'm forgetting a book. Alright guys. I actually read a book on my Kindle that I just had to grab from my desk. But I read First Down by Grace Riley. I'll have a picture of the cover on the screen here. So this book, you're basically following, I'm going to be honest, I don't remember the name of the characters, but they end up striking a deal where she tutors him and he pretends to be her boyfriend. So it's fake dating, and he's a football player, so it's sports romance, fake dating, and I gave this book 3 stars. It was cute. It just gave me the Deal vibes. If you guys have read The Deal by Elle Kennedy, it reminded me so much of that book, and I loved that book. So I don't know, it was just a little bit repetitive. I thought it was cute. It was a cute little romance. It wasn't that long. I think I flew through that book in like a day or two. I don't really remember too much from it because I think it was like one of the first books that I read in the month of September. So yeah, I give that book 3 stars. It wasn't bad. It was just a cute book. If you're looking for like a palette cleanser in between like a fantasy series, I think that book would be cute for you to read. And yeah, those are all the books that I read. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give it a huge thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. I think I'm going to be doing a October TBR. I think I'm going to let a TBR jar prompt do my October reads. I wanted to do that last month, and then it ended up being like I don't know, it was getting a couple days too long into the month, and I kind of wanted to mood read in September. So I think that's my plan for a TBR video. So look out for that, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.